when I was about 25, a few years ago, I was just getting over a breakup, and I was in that sort of in-between period where it had been far enough in the past that I was kind of ready to go out and like meet new guys, but I also needed some encouragement, some coaching. And this was the frame of mind that I was in the night that I went out to dinner with my best friend and her mom and this assortment of characters. So we were at a little Italian restaurant in Rittenhouse Square, and there was a great cast of family friends around this table. There's Johnny, who's like super excited for me to tell him all about my boy problems so he can tell me about his, and an excuse for him to tell me about his, but he still is giving me advice, and honey, screw that guy and get back out there. And then Heather, who just is nodding and listening, and she's telling me that some people are weeds in our garden, and some people are flowers in our garden, and we have to figure out which ones are weeds, which ones are flowers. And I'm pulling out my notebook and writing it all down, like, yeah, like, you're so wise. And then there's Connor. He's, like, really intellectual and has a ponytail and saying, oh, most men are savages. Not me, but most men are savages. So, you know, we're all going on, and they're all, like, encouraging me. And as dinner's going on, I notice at the back, way back of the restaurant, this waiter, who I can't really see him, but from a distance, like, he looks really cute. I'm like, hey guys, like, look at that waiter, like, he looks pretty cute, you know? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, should I give him my number, which I've never done before, so, you know, I'm so enthusiastic with all their encouragement. And Jimmy's like, yeah, give him your number, go for it. And Susan's like, or Heather is like, if you feel it is right, then do it. And Connor's like, that meathead, what do you see in that meathead? So, you know, we're talking about it and there's all this buzz, and then I can't really see this guy because he's pretty much sitting at the back of the restaurant, but from a distance, I think, you know, he looks really cute. And at one point he sort of crosses the room and I can sort of see him a little better, and he looks a little bit younger than me. I'm like, well, that's okay, guys, right? Like, I'm 25. I could go out with someone who's 22. Jimmy's like, yeah, like, you could be a cougar. And Heather's like, a younger man would be really great for your spirit. And Connor's like, I don't know what you see in him. So then I'm like, should I get the receipt when the check comes and, like, write my name on it? I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm going to do it. So I put my name and my number on the back, and I write, call me. I've never done that, so I'm like super excited. I'm just thinking this is great, like we're in an Italian restaurant and it's such a good how we met story, and because I'm Italian, so I can bring this guy to family parties and he's not going to flinch when he meets my relatives Carmen and little Carmen and little Carmen. He'll just be able to roll with that. So I still am not really looking because I don't want to be embarrassed or like catch eyes or whatever. And Jimmy volunteers to take my number over to the hostess to give to the waiter. So he's like, I'm going to do it. So I'm like, okay. So he brings it over to the hostess, and I'm just being very cool, not really looking. And all the waiters and waitresses sort of gather around the host at the front, and Jimmy's like, she gave it to him, and he's going outside, and he smiles. And I'm like, okay, so it's time for us to go. And this waiter is out front waiting, so we're going to meet because he's there, and we're going out. So we go out the front door, and I can see him in his uniform standing there at the bottom of the step. And we get closer, and then finally, I really can see his face. Like, I can actually really see him. My stomach just drops. But there's nothing I can do. He's there, I'm there. It's like being on an airplane, like, you can't get out. I just have nowhere to go but forward. So I say, hi, I'm Martha. He says, I'm Tim. I'm 15. So what can you do? What can you really do? What could I really do? Except be like, oh, really? Like, you look older. And I just took off down the street running as fast as I could. And Jimmy's like, what happened? And Tim, the 15-year-old, is just getting smaller and smaller. And finally, I'm at the corner. And then I realize I am running in heels.